Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. It's National Compliment Day. Tony, you got anything nice to say to our viewers?
I'm Tony Kornheiser. We may be on ESPN 2 today, but just for you, we'll give ESPN effort. No,
wow, that's good.
That's not actually true. We're
well,
on the deuce.
You're going to give
you
ESPN
get what you
News
pay for.
or ESPN U effort?
Now, how long does it go? How long till you get to the Ocho? How long till that happens?
It's a while.
That's our next stop. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Raiders hire Pete Carroll. The Jaguars lure Liam, that's hard to say, lure Liam Conaway from the Bucks, and Novak Djokovic gets booed at the Australian Open. But we begin today with Sunday's conference championship games. There's Buffalo at Kansas City in the AFC. No real surprises there. And Washington's at Philadelphia in the NFC. And Washington, 4-13 last year, is certainly a surprise. Wilbon, which teams do you have the most faith in?
Tony, you can make that singular. Which team do I have the most faith in? The champs, the multiple-time champions who turn to win their fourth Super Bowl in 6 years. They're the only ones. And I'm not saying they're a lock. You know, I've watched a lot of our own network this morning, and really smart people, like I think Ryan Clark was one of them, really smart career football people, look at these teams. They have watched film all year. They've watched teams all year. And one after another seems to pick Buffalo and says Buffalo is the better team right now, and explaining in great detail why they feel confident that it's Buffalo's time, that it's Josh Allen's time to beat Kansas City. And I just as a gut feeling, they've forgotten more today than I'll ever know. As a gut feeling, I don't feel that Buffalo's going to beat the Chiefs in Kansas City. So I have some faith in the Chiefs based on what they've done, and I don't have it in the Commanders or Philly. And I know Philly was in the Super Bowl just a few years ago. I get it. Jalen Hurts, though, and that knee is bulky, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. And I know the Commanders are at least like 2 years ahead of where we all thought they would be. But faith, I mean, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with them to no end, but not faith. So I got faith in one of the four teams playing on Sunday.
There's an interesting little fact that I heard today that of these four teams that are still alive for the Super Bowl, in the playoffs, none of them have turned the football over at all. Not at all. That's something to think about.
Yeah.
On the question of faith, like you, I have faith in Kansas City. Because what have they won this game 4 out of the last 5 years or something like that? They know how to win this game. Would I be stunned if Buffalo won?
No.
No, I wouldn't be stunned.
No.
Would I be a little bit surprised? Yes, I would be a little bit surprised. But they've been knocking on this door for a while. It's possible. Do I have faith in Philadelphia? I think Philadelphia is a very good team. I think they're a better team than Washington. And by the way, you were enraptured the other day about an I-95 game. This is the first time that two teams in this division have played off to go to the Super Bowl since 1986. And how old are we? Because we were there. That was in New York. That was the Giants beating Washington. And we were both at that game. It's a long time ago.
That's right.
I, like you, I question whether or not Jalen Hurts is completely healthy. And I'm rooting for Washington. I'm a fan of Jayden Daniels. But I also know that 5 rookie quarterbacks have gotten this far. 5. And their record is 0-5, even though 2 of them, Ben Roethlisberger and Joe Flacco, went on to win Super Bowls.
Later.
Mike, I agree with you. I agree with you that there's not a super team out there. But Kansas City has done everything that they have been asked to do. If they win the Super Bowl, that's 3 in a row. No one has ever done that. That cements their dynasty, and no one will ever care down the road that their point differential wasn't impressive. No one will care.
Don't I completely agree with you if they get this 3rd in a row. And maybe their superpower is endurance of this particular team, enduring the long season, enduring these crazy last-second, last-play victories. Maybe that's their superpower.
They win them.
And, you know, and it's not a dominating season, but it can be just as impressive in another way. They win. Let's move to the Raiders' hiring of Pete Carroll. At 73 years old, Carroll becomes the oldest coach in the NFL. Of course, one of the most accomplished football coaches at all levels, having won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks and a college football title with Southern Cal. His career regular season record as an NFL head coach across 3 previous teams is 170, 120-1. Tone, how's this hire feel to you?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to make a big deal over the fact that he's 73 years old because he's a kid to me. I think Pete Carroll is a terrific coach. As you said, he won a Super Bowl in Seattle. He won the national championship at USC. And not a lot of people have done that. I think there's 2 or 3 others. So his credentials are impeccable. And when it began to go south a few years ago in Seattle, there was not a collapse there under Pete Carroll in the way that there was a collapse under Bill Belichick when it began to go south in New England a couple of years ago. I think he will come in right away and because he's a defensive guy and improve the Raiders' defense. But, Mike, he doesn't have a quarterback. You have to have a quarterback. He's in a division with Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert and Bo Nix, who are all good, and you can't win you got to score some points. You can't win that way. So that's the critical thing. Is he going to go out and get a quarterback? And I'll shut up for a little while and let you talk, and then I'll come back to the quarterback thing. I just want to say I think it's going to be cool that he plays Harbaugh twice a year and they can scream, "What's your deal?" across the field. I would like to see that.
You mean you're not impressed with the rumors that Sam Darnold could be wearing the silver and black? Huh? I mean,
Maybe.
And Pete has had staffs who can coach up a quarterback. Another rumor out there is that he's patched it up with Russ. He and Russell Wilson, a person who got him one stupid offensive coordinator call away from 2 Super Bowls.
Away from 2.
That's what he and Russ were right there on the apron of. Tony, it's interesting to talk about age. Pete Carroll has such youthful exuberance that if you just had to know how old he was and pick a number, you'd never seen Pete Carroll. You'd watch him on the sideline for, say, 4 weeks, and you said, okay, you don't know that guy. How old is he? I don't know. You might say 60. You might not even. I mean, Pete Carroll seems to have that. There's a treasure trove of knowledge. I can tell you this. I'm really happy with my Bears having gone another way to a 38-year-old assistant who hasn't been a head coach. I think I'm happy right now. But if the Bears had hired Pete Carroll, Tony, I would have been hopeful. And there would have been a different type of optimism, hoping that Pete Carroll could rekindle what he's already produced. Because you know what he's got?
It's all fair.
He's got 170 more victories in the NFL than the coordinator from the Detroit Lions we just stole away and are putting all the trust in. 170 more.
Let me give you 2 other quarterback names that are possibilities.
Who?
If Atlanta cuts Kirk Cousins and he's free on the open market, he could go there. I'm sure he knows Pete Carroll's work. And I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is in play, but Tom Brady is an owner now of Las Vegas. And Tom Brady's going to have some say with the quarterbacks. The fact of the matter is that, you can't win. It's the difference between winning and losing.
That's right.
A good quarterback. Right. It really is. We turn to the Australian Open, where the big news today is Novak Djokovic retiring after losing his first set with number 2 seed Alexander Zverev